Stock to its crew. Happy Friday. Welcome back to another episode. We're wrapping up the week here. Got my man Michael Nauss with us this morning. Michael
What's
Nauss,
going
how's the
on?
week been? It's been a crazy week. We're wrapping it up here. How's it been for you?
It's been awesome. Another week, another tap against all-time highs. See if we can make it through this time. Can't have a bad week when the market's making all-time highs, unless you're one of those perma bear guys, and then I feel kind of bad for you.
I agree. I'm with you. Well, let's get into the daily rip. Let's get ready to wrap up the week here with the last day, and yeah, let's get prepared. See what we got.
Sure
Let's take a
thing.
look at this heat map. A lot more green on there than we saw yesterday. So, Nvidia standing now up over 3% there. A lot of tech names up good. We saw energy
Hmm.
was getting killed yesterday, or I guess not yesterday, but the day before that on this heat map, and doing a lot better from yesterday there. So just a lot of green. Love to see it. Again, market at right back at all time highs. So expect to see this, right? Tesla was a
Yeah,
big one, back up almost 6%. So I love to see that. But what's standing out to you, Michael?
just a lot of green. I mention all the time. I like the Christmas tree look a little more. I like when there's some green, some red, but especially if the overall market's going to take a push to that all-time highs, I think we need this. We need just everything to kind of get involved. It's like the fourth or fifth time we've tried to break through this all-time high. So if we're going to go through, yeah, I think everything needs to kind of rip with it. And that's so far what we're seeing.
Yep, 100%. Let's get into it. What else we got on the daily rip this morning? Coinbase couldn't follow Hood higher. Yeah, we saw this from yesterday. So Hood did amazing on the numbers there. The
Hmm.
largest U.S. crypto marketplace reported after the bell with earnings per share of $4.68 and revenues of 2.27 billion, topping estimates of $1.81 and 1.81 and 1.88 billion dollars. Total trading revenues were up 185% year over year, with consumer trading volume up 224% year over year, and institutional volume up 176%. Higher levels of crypto volatility helped drive the activity, with management citing the launch of Bitcoin ETF products in and the election of a pro crypto president in Congress as the two main tailwinds. So obviously, that's huge, right, for Coinbase. But Coinbase said it is trying to diversify its revenue streams away from trading, which made up roughly 68.5% of total revenue during the fourth quarter. Stablecoins are another opportunity, with USDC poised for growth in a post-stablecoin legislation world. Michael, what are your thoughts on this with Coinbase, obviously, with that earnings and everything?
So yeah, as always, I'm the technician. So take what my whole thematic thing with a grain of salt. But wouldn't it, in my brain, wouldn't the launch of ETFs and the ability to for people to access crypto outside of places like Coinbase, wouldn't that be bad? So that's what I look at it. It's like Robinhood. I can trade. I can't. I'm Canadian, but the people who are on Robinhood down there can trade either the direct Bitcoin, or they could trade on in tax advantage accounts or whatever. They can buy different Bitcoin ETFs. Now Ethereum ETFs. I've heard rumbling of Solana ETFs. I just think the more this goes off this particular exchange and goes to where people already have accounts and have money, yeah, you think it would kind of hurt them all. As soon as we have, Dogecoin and Pepe coin ETFs, then why would anyone be trading over at Coinbase if they're going to make all these meme coins into ETFs?
Yeah, I agree. And then Robinhood, just stepping in to the whole crypto game as well.
Yeah, they
It's not
win.
great for them.
They win on either side. If you want to trade the coins, they're on Robinhood. If you want to
Yep.
trade the ETFs, they're on Robinhood. So it seems like they've just got a better handle of everything.
Yep, I agree. What else we got? Let's see. GME reportedly gives into temptation. Traditional meme stop GameStop has been a material uptick in chatter this week on speculation that it would add Bitcoin and other digital assets to its balance sheet. I think that would be a good decision for them. After the close,
Hmm.
CNBC reported its sources indicated the company is still evaluating alternative asset classes, including crypto and Bitcoin. With significant cash on its balance sheet, no debt, and declining revenues, investors have patiently waited for management to devise a plan to reinvigorate the core business. However, after nearly 4 years of Ryan Cohen's involvement in the company, it seems the best he and his colleagues can come up with is more financial engineering. Stock popped nearly 15% initially, settling down slightly with a 6% gain as of writing this.
Hmm.
While stock twit sentiment is bullish and many view that this is another trading opportunity in the stock, long-term investors want to see a meaningful change to the business model, and buying Bitcoin is not that. So interesting stuff with GameStop. What's your thoughts,
To
Michael?
be
This
honest,
it's
this is
all
going to be one.
garbage, right? But I mean,
Well, and I've been very vocal against the whole meme stock craze, and it's because they turned into cult members. But I think it's to the point where GameStop should just shut its. I think this is a Kramer take, so I'm gonna stand out here and I'm gonna agree with Jim Kramer for a second. I think they should just shut down the doors, right? Close the whole company, take the couple $1 billion they have, and just become like a private equity fund or a hedge fund or something like that. There's no world in which you're going to get people to go back to a store and buy a video game and a physical copy. Why compete when it comes to console sales and things with Amazon and all that? Just shut it down. You got no debt. Unfortunately, shut it down, fire everyone, right? Get out all the contracts you can, have a couple $1 billion, and I don't know, trade Bitcoin or whatever, because they already made an amendment to their thing that Ryan Cohen can basically buy whatever he wants with the cash they have on hand. So yeah, at this point, just become a hedge fund. It's probably a better
yeah,
it's a better use of the money anyway.
yeah, I would say so too. Let's see what else we got here. Robinhood rises while Reddit rolls over. Reddit didn't have the same luck, falling 14% after the bell and seeing stock to its sentiment slump into bearish territory. The recap: Reddit's Q4 EPS of 36 cents and revenue of 428 million exceeded estimates of 25 cents and 404.88 million, respectively. However, full year 2024 ended with a net loss, and cost growth remains a factor to monitor. Advertising revenue grew 60% year over year in quarter four, exceeding expectations. In Q4 saw Google search algorithms changes impacting traffic, although it has since recovered. So not too bad on the bearish side of things there at all. But any thoughts on Reddit there? I mean, the run-up has been crazy. I know the chart's just wild after that IPO. Not something I usually look at or trade, right away, but it's been a killer.
Yeah, it's as perfect as an IPO trade, I think, as you can possibly get with Reddit, where it just most of them fall apart, struggle for a bit. Reddit's just been marching higher. This seems to me as a technician like a momentary blip. If you have a pullback like this and you can find some support on the pullback, probably more of a buying opportunity than anything. From a personal note, I've been using Reddit more and more. I don't really post on it, but I find every time I Google something, it just sends me to a Reddit post to get my answer anyway. So I might as well just go right there and try.
Yeah, I found myself doing the same thing. Especially, it's always like with the gaming world and like the streaming world as well. There's same thing. Any question I ever have about like OBS streaming and stuff, it always takes me to Reddit, I find.
Exactly.
So yeah. Let's see what else we got. Today's top data to watch out for: retail sales at 8:30 Eastern, which already came out. Import and export prices came out as well. Then we have industrial manufacturing production 9:15. Business inventories at 10. Pre-market earnings going on are Moderna, Enbridge, AMC, Magna International, Zoom Car Holdings, and TC Energy. After hours today, we have Solar Bank. So interesting stuff there. And then, yeah, reminder, you guys can listen into all those calls on the StockTwits platform. So take advantage of that. But anything that you wanted to note from here, Michael?
Nothing huge that I think is market moving there, but I think with all these numbers and all these earnings, the market's looking for an excuse to crack through these all-time highs. So we just need one large company to say the right thing. These business inventories and things like this, maybe they'll get us through. But I think these are less important numbers than CPI and PPI, which we just had. So just again, we're looking for that excuse to pop through new highs.
Yep, I'm with you. Yeah, let's get into some charts. ASTS Space Mobile sets up for its next leg higher. So we've talked about this chart quite a bit on the show. It's definitely been a name in the conversation and getting a lot of momentum recently. You see, I mean, we consolidated sideways with really no momentum at all, right? Just accumulation there to the sideway or to the side. And now you're seeing some real momentum off those lows, right? And maybe we're breaking out of those low resistance highs and maybe getting a retest and starting to head back to those highs, right? So I think this looks great. Momentum's great. You see the volume coming in. What's your thoughts?
Absolutely love this chart. What we were talking about before, and when we go over to my charts, I can show as well is what the person that posted this doesn't have there is the anchored view app from that all-time high push is right underneath us. We spend a lot of time below it. Seems to be an important VWAP, so we're going to watch that. But yeah, it just looks great. This consolidation for me personally, I just hope it happens for a little longer. Let's give another week of kind of sideways movement, and then I'll be buying that little flag breakout if we can get it.
Yeah. Yeah, so looking good there. Let's see what other charts we got for the morning. Bug Cybersecurity ETF breaks out of its base. I don't think I've looked at this one before, but this is looking really strong. Big kind of cup and handle pattern if you play that way, right? But definitely just breaking out with lots of momentum there. So, any pullbacks, any retests of that previous high that we see, I definitely would want to see that hold if I'm looking to stay bullish.
Yeah.
But I mean, gotta love it. New all-time highs. If you get a back test of previous all-time highs and you hold, it's very bullish to me. So I think this is looking great.
Yeah, there's nothing bearish about that chart, and I was actually just adding that to my master ETF list because I have Hack. I know that's another one that does
Yeah, I didn't know this
roughly
one
the same
existed.
thing, but yeah, Bug I didn't know. That's just a what else do you want kind of chart. You're buying the all-time high breakout. I like how he's done the Fibonacci target there, which gets you around $45. So you're talking $10 from here. So as long as your risk, and your risk would probably be if it fell and closed back below that 35. So right, you're risking a buck or two to make 10. It's like you almost have to take that trade mathematically.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Let's see what other stocks we got here. Snow. Oh, Shy's missing out here because he loves Snow. Snow is slowly breaking from its base. You see, it's been pretty quiet since that earnings gap that we made. There's been some great trading, in between there. But if you're a long-term investor, it's been kind of quiet, just under that $200. But I think this looks great. I mean, if you're sitting in this is exactly what you want to see. That sideways consolidation when we are moving. We're moving slowly to the upside, grinding, right?
Yeah.
Now you just want to see that momentum step in. So again, looks great. Fundamentals on the stock. We've talked to Shy plenty. He loves the stock, so that's just kind of added confluence to it as well.
Yeah, and just looking here, earnings in a week, right? So that's really going to determine that. It's a great looking chart. It's just we got to get through that earnings in a week's time. But yeah, it's a really really nice looking chart. Very very William O'Neill cup and handle look there.
If earnings are like kind of shady, I would anticipate we maybe come in and just try and fill that gap that we made from the previous earnings, to be honest, and then maybe we look to do something there. But yeah, looking great. Let's see what else we got. Pelosi favorite. Oh my God, the Tempest. We've seen this name so much. AI clears resistance. So this just keeps on running, man. Follow the Momo. I mean, don't fade the Momo when it's there. Especially with Nancy Pelosi behind this right now, and a bunch of people, having that sentiment. They're following her, right? You really don't want to fade something like that. So loving the momentum. The volume's kind of dwindling the past few days. It looks like a little bit, but I mean, overall looking great.
The full disclosure, I'm in this one, and in this one fairly heavy as well, just because, and maybe I'll bring up a chart and we can go to this when we go to my chart a little later. They've been shorting into this rally, right? If you kind of chart out the short float from the low at 30, as this thing's kind of been ramping up, more and more shorts are getting nailed in. So you're getting short against the greatest investor of all time highs. I generally don't think is the move, but that's what the powers of B have been doing. Have been getting short. So I've been buying on this this leg up as well. So I hope this breakout sticks. And those shorts have a real hard time. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it's looking pretty good. So we'll see where she goes. What other tickers we got? A speculative chip name. I don't know if I've looked at this one, but the consolidation is really clean. I love to see that. It's just a matter
Still
of is that
see
momentum going to step
Snow
in?
there. Just FYI,
Oh,
went
do
back
you?
to Snowflake.
Huh.
Oh no, sorry.
Oh, you good? Okay.
No, I was on the wrong tab.
No, you're good. I was
Forgive
just
me.
making sure.
Yeah.
But this looks. I don't know about you, Michael Nauss. I would like to see some actual momentum step in before I really were to take any action on this. But
Yeah.
this consolidation is just so clean, right? I love the way that looks after the impulsive moves up. Not a name I really know, so keep that in mind as well. But you get some real momentum over those low resistance highs. Get a back test. This could look pretty good into that $14 area. So
Yeah, this is just one of those that chops and does absolutely nothing until something comes out and then
Yeah.
has a spike and then chops and does nothing. So
Yeah.
I would just pay close attention and wait for some sort of event to occur. Or if you're studying this with this much detail on a stock that again doesn't really move that much, just again go look and see, are they speaking at any events coming up? Is there anything happening when is there anything going on that's going to push this? Because it seems like one of those that it doesn't move until there's some sort of catalyst. So you have to do some sort of prediction of when you're going to get that catalyst.
Yeah. 100%. So we'll keep an eye on NA. What else we got? Oh, that's it for the
That's
charts
it.
on there. You want to bring up your charts, Michael, and talk
Absolutely.
about some stocks you're looking at for the morning?
I always want to talk about charts.
Oh, yeah. I love seeing that heat map. We need to see that heat map, too.
Yes, so that's generally one of the first things I like to go to. Look at that on KWeb. Is that real? Change from the close, change from the close. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Let's see how much volume is taking place before we get too excited.
Yeah.
There's a fair amount of volume there. So we are up, we are gapping up pretty big on KWeb, which is good. So one of the constituencies must be, there we go. So there's Baba. Cleared that high. And this is what I was walking for. Again, full disclosure. I'll always say when I'm in stuff, I'm in a lot of China and Baba specifically. I think everyone was looking at this spike right here and just saying, when and if we get through that, because for those who don't know, this spike was caused by China just throwing the kitchen sink at their economy. Right? Let's lower rates, let's raise money, let's give everybody a check in the mail, just every stimulus thing that we could possibly think of, let's do. And then we had this spike, and then everyone forgot about China for a while. Bob has been slowly grinding back up here. Nice little gap up today, so I do own this one. But that's just, again, exactly what you want to see. So when we go into this list, you can see, KWeb and FXI, which is both China, leading the pack. We got silver doing well, UNG, ARK. This ARK chart has just been amazing. This has been a great
Look at that. That's just so
yeah.
clean, right? I like cleanliness. You know what I mean? When it's clean like that, it just sometimes it gets me in trouble though, Michael. I will say,
Yes.
because it's almost like when it's perfect, it's a little fishy to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, this looks great. This is clean. I love the way that looks, and you're getting that momentum over those highs right now. So beautiful.
Yeah, these are the kind of setups I like, because even though there's probably a 50-50 probability that this is going to stick the landing, you just know right when to get in, right? I bought a little bit on yesterday's close as we were closing over that range. I know right where I'm going to be wrong, right? If we break back down and we hold significantly under this level, and just it takes the thinking out of trading, which I think is the most important thing when it comes to trading, is the less thinking, the better. So ARK is doing great, and I don't know when the last time I've been able to say that ARK has been phenomenal as a chart. So because she was ranked as the largest wealth destroying human being of all time through all this. But maybe she'll get the last laugh eventually. So this is just, if there is a lesson on following the trend, I think ARK is it. You could have made a whole bunch of money on the way up. You could have avoided much of the collapse on the way down. And if we are turning, plenty of time to get back in if this is the way up. So none of this seems risk off to me, right? We're not seeing any sell down when it comes to looking at, generally speaking, if it's the market scared, you'll see, XLP up here, which is consumer staples. You'll see a whole bunch of names that are up here and just a little bit worrisome. And then the inverse, right? If the market's really, really risk on, you'll see a lot of risk on names. I'm seeing a pretty good mix of both. Again, just saying, hey, maybe this is going to be one of those everything rallies that we're looking for. Mix of both, I mean, right? KWeb, FXI, and ARK are definitely very risk on. UNG and DBC, which is commodities index, and copper, I look at these as part of the buy things that are made in America type of thing. And it's not to say, right, everything that everybody has been doing for years has some sort of international exposure. The only pure plays that I think that you can find of things that will be completely tariff immune are things like UNG, because it is the United States natural gas, or USO, which is United States oil, that kind of thing. And that's why I've been seeing these more and more every day on the list. And the reason I think is just simply that, right? People are just looking for a place to put their money, especially going into the weekend, that they're not going to have some crazy tweet. Because even though these gap downs keep getting bought every time, I think it's still causing a lot of stress for people out there. And we gap down. So UNG is getting close to this prior high right here. So we'll see what ends up holding up there as well. So yeah, just a pretty good mix, I think, of things going in, which is good. Means could be fun for stock picking going on.
Yeah, it's definitely been a stock picker's market, man. But over the past few days, we've seen everything kind of rip, which is nice. Love to see it into yesterday. See if it continues. I mean, look at that chart. Gosh, it definitely got a little just crappy, I guess. Over the past few weeks, just back and forth, hard to manage. But look at where we're at, man. We're right back at all-time highs. I mean, you can't argue about it.
Well, and this is what I remember we were talking on Spaces in this area, and just saying, listen, I'm focusing so much on my kind of buy the dip, sell the rip systems and algos, and not really on trend following at all, because this was really, really hard, right? If we take off the pre-market action, you can see, yes, all these gaps were being bought, but it was one of those things where you had to withstand the gap first. So you'd wake up Monday morning, you'd look at your phone, and everything was down red. If you just turned over and went back to sleep, by the time you woke up, a lot of that was green again. But again, I don't want to preemptive, because we could fail, certainly on this breakout. But if we do end up breaking up, that might lead into a little bit more trend following, some push around maybe not having to be in some of these more speculative names. Something may actually break out in trend. We got some tickers to look at, but first I just want to go down and just show you guys that this is pretty much everything that's moving. So QQQE, I think that's what I wanted to look at. So this is the equal weighted NASDAQ 100, and that actually made a new high. So this isn't going to be as heavily weighted. It's still tech, right? It's still the NASDAQ 100, but it's not all Nvidia and those big guys. There's some smaller names out there that made a new all-time holding or closing high. If we went to RSP, although still well under its long-term all-time high, that's been perking up nicely and butting up against highs, which is the equal weight of the S&P 500, which essentially just means, trying to always explain to people who might not know, equal weight versus cap weight. The S&P 500 is cap weighted, which means the larger the company, the bigger effect it has on the index. Equal weight just means every company is equally divided amongst the index. So it's a better representation of what the average stock is doing. That's doing fantastic. But small caps poor small caps, man. They just can't get anything going. So this is going to be, I think, the real health of the market. If we ever get a breakout, or if we ever get some sort of move in the small cap space, I think things could get really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? I mean, I think we talked about a few times previously on the show, kind of why, especially long-term small cap like IWM is just tough, right? Because it's compiled of all the smallest companies, right? And once it gets big enough, they're going to get moved out. But I'm with you, right? You see this start to actually gain some traction and really get ripping. It's going to be interesting for the market, but it's just been so quiet. And every time we think it's going to go, it just falls right back and doesn't go. So it's a tough trade, man.
Yeah,
but we'll keep eyes on it.
High here, right? Because
look at that too. Yeah, that zone is just holding.
Right, because this was kind of the early warning shot that a lot of people took on with the whole Russia Ukraine thing, right? Because this looked amazing, right? If you go to this part of the chart, right, that breakout looked so great and so clean, and then it just completely fell apart. And that was kind of an early sign of that bear market, and we had that break again. So you're right. Small caps are obviously less important. One, and this is just another rant that I could have. One, but the main one is, you're right, they kick out their best player. So imagine a sports team where every time your player gets too good, you just kick them out to another team. Like, it just doesn't make
sucks
a whole lot of sense, right? But the other thing is, and this is again a bit of a rant, is that they haven't changed that a small cap is anything under $2 billion in like the last 20 years. And inflation has obviously, like, a $2 billion company today is way junkier than a $2 billion company was, like, in the year 2000, right? That doesn't make, I think we should be shifting these kind of up. So maybe they let in $3 or $4 billion companies, which I would still consider small caps, but yeah, just unable to get going on this. If we ever get a breakout here, and this thing starts to make new highs, then you better believe the whole market is just absolutely rocketing.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of outdated by gauging it like that in the market cap. Yeah, we do have some tickers from the chat.
Yeah, quick
There's the dollar.
last thing I think,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
did a tweet about this. I think I did a in stock twits too, saying this I think is the most important chart in the market. The fact that this is breaking down is what's going to lead us to break out. This is just the dollar, so it's DXY. It's a dollar index, which means it's the dollar versus a whole basket of other currencies. And generally speaking, the market doesn't really care if the dollar moves up or down, but they don't want it to move very much because it gets hard for institutions to try to figure out what they're going to sell and at what price and all of this. So we end up getting a failure of a breakout here. It's exactly what we want to see. If we come back into this range and we sit around in this range for a while, again, a lot of things out there that are pushing for potentially this could end up being a real breakout. But yeah, let's take a look at those charts.
I like that with the dollar though. That range you were just talking about us going back into, that looks that's what we'd want to see for sure. Yeah, right back into that $100 to 106 range. Yeah, it's right in front of me. Yeah.
Do you want me to step back? Do you want me to pull back? Balance this out?
All right. I'm having issues this morning, I guess. I don't know.
Gotta grab another Celsius and start bellowing into the mics. Is that still the worst stock in the market?
I think so. I think so.
CELH. Ooh, yeah. Oh, earnings coming up. Maybe that will save them. It's just one of those things. It's like, what do? You sell energy drinks, right? What are you gonna do? Come out with one with Ozempic laced in it? Like, what's the thing that's gonna?
No, that would sell. That would
sell.
Good. That would do good. Right? Jeez.
So yeah, someone was asking about SOUN. This time to move this line. This is why I don't like. You'll see most of the lines I draw are horizontal, and that's for a reason, right? I don't like trend lines because you always keep doing what I end up doing, which is one of those, right? You keep moving the line back and forth. Still looks good. It's a great looking pattern here. It might just do this until earnings, and then you're one of those things where you're just buying into a, you're just hoping that earnings goes well, right? So,
yeah.
Nvidia 13F moving the market. Let's look at the pre-market action here in Nvidia. It's popping a bit. What's a 13F? That's a insider buy, isn't it? Or a large institutional buy. Popping up a little bit here. It's an interesting look, but yeah, it still has this major high here to get through and to hold through for sure. We're opening in 2 minutes. What was one? NBIS was the other ticker someone had us look at. And again, we can do these throughout the show. Make sure that you're asking questions. This is an interesting look. Is this right?
Is that a daily chart? That's a daily chart.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm just wondering why. Look at all the earnings reports stacked up. Let me check another. That's why I always have multiple charting platforms ready to go. No, that's what it looks like.
Interesting.
So it reported a bunch of earnings back to back here.
I don't know if I love it or hate it, to be honest.
Yeah. We're gapping up here in the pre-market. Definitely still in a downtrend, filling a lot of gaps, right? Filled this gap, and then now it's filling this gap, and now it's filling that gap. So I don't know. I look at a chart like this, though, and I see there's still a lot of bag holders out there from when it just cratered from, $90 down to 14. The fact that it's been able to get back to 45 is... Right, this is a wild one. So, right, hold on. This must be some sort of pharmaceutical, internet software services. I don't know what a software company is doing to create swings. I just assumed it was a biotech company based off what was moving there.
Yeah, those swings are crazy.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful, right?
Definitely. Well, Nvidia took a stake, apparently. Interesting. Yeah, sounds good. No worries. How's Fartcoin for you, Mike?
I'm in.
He's in.
Hasn't done anything. I'm
Oh,
holding.
she's
I'm
quiet,
holding.
huh?
As long as it holds this level, I'm going to stay in. If we break that and end this VWAP, I'm going to be out. But
God, it did look really good. Jeez.
it does look
Hey,
really
there's
good.
Leah. Good morning. Good morning. Uh-oh, does Leah know she's on?
Uh-oh.
Leah's on.
I don't think Leah knows
I don't
she's
think
on.
she can
So
hear us.
let's take a look at how the market's opening up here.
Yeah. Let's see. Tesla back down a little bit. That Tesla had a nice gap up, though. I don't know if you noticed. We came down to that 326.50. That was one of my spots. I was actually trying some longs way earlier off that 373 area, and then we got nasty selling through that. So had that 326.50 marked, and that looks like a little bit of a sweep so far that we're holding.
Yeah, I'm watching
Sorry,
Tesla
guys.
closely.
Oh, you're good, Leah. Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear us?
1 second, 1 second.
You're good.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here is to look at the this zone that I've highlighted. This could be, and this is something I'm watching really close for, is an undercut and rally, which is one of my favorite just discretionary setups, right? Find an area that everyone's watching that's just this prior high at 350. We sell under that, we end up getting smoked there, and then we just rip through. Everyone's in trouble. So
I have that same zone drawn. Yeah, so I'm watching that same thing, actually.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are
Sorry,
you?
My gosh.
No, it's okay. Technical difficulties, it's all right. I have them all the time, so not a big deal. How's the morning treating you so far? It's been a crazy week.
Very good, very good. I'm having a very good week.
Good.
I'm getting used to this kind of trading since for past 2-3 weeks.
Right? You kind of have to. It's been a crazy market out there. Every time Trump speaks, it's just wild in the market, you know?
Yeah,
So got to be
yeah.
on point with it.
Totally. But I'm having a good week. I have very good stuff that I was trading this week. And today I don't think I'm going to be opening too many trades, to be honest with you. I'm just going to be more closing them.
Yeah, end of the week for sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to share your screen and share any of the trades or like tickers that you were watching? Maybe made some trades on. Feel free.
Sure.
You should be able to
I'm
now.
gonna share. Yeah.
And I'll be interested to hear your thought process for closing on Fridays. I was talking to one trader. I really like his idea. He just says, I go through my portfolio and anything that's red on Friday, out.
Just kick it out, huh?
And then, right, that you got the whole weekend, you walk around, you take a deep breath, and then if you still like it on Monday, just go buy it again on Monday. The odds that it's gapping up 20% is going to be super rare.
I don't hate
but
that.
he's like, it just lets me breathe better on the weekend. I'm like, you know what? It's not a bad idea.
I like these chart colors, by the way, Leah.
I changed it because psychologically red color means danger. So
It means scary, right? Yeah, mine are black and white. I just change it.
Can, like, when you see a red color, sometimes people just freak out and close the trade. Instead of just being patient and following the stop loss, they're like, oh, red color, you know?
Agreed. I agree.
Anyway, so yeah, my week was great. I have a bunch of Aaron condors on SPY, which I will keep all the premiums. I sold put spread and I sold call spread. So unless the SPY doesn't get above 614, I'm fine. And then the lower was 600 and 595. That was my sold put spread and sold call spread. So that's going to be nice to close them today. And yeah, SPX, we have this resistance here. We'll see if we break out or not. And silver, I'm heavy in silver. Here was my entry. I'm still riding. I think we're gonna probably see a little bit of weakness due to gold and copper, but this was a great trade. Maybe I will take profits. I also have silver for longer term, like into next month, because of course inflation hedge and all that stuff happening. We had already bad news this week. I expected it's gonna get worse, which I didn't think last week, but sadly right now I do. You have to be very flexible as a trader. And biz, I'm in this one also. And it has a squeeze potential, so there was
we just talked about this ticker, so very
okay,
cool. Yeah,
I'm
so
trading
nice to
this
see.
one right now, so I'm in this one since yesterday. And of course, Baba, I'm a little bit sad because I sold the call at 120, which I'm gonna be called away today if we don't I'm not gonna freak out before it ends, but even if I sell, it's fine. I made 20% plus the call premium on this trade, so that's fine. I don't.
I was about to
Awesome.
say it's Bob. It could definitely be under that strike by the end.
Yeah, and this one, Nvidia, I think it's gonna get to 141 at some point. I would like to have more volume on this trade. And again, I'm in Nvidia heavily. I'm not gonna be adding, but for a trade, it would be fun to do. So 141, I think the gap fill could happen at some point. Probably not today, but into next week. Who knows? Nvidia is unpredictable. It's very very good trading stock. And yeah, that's it. And I'm in FTNT actually. I like how it was reacting. I see this buyer pressure here. We'll see. This is another trade. So, if someone is not in, then if we some breakout of the 110, 111, that could be a pretty nice setup there. Usually, I prefer trading breakouts of strong stocks than instead of like FinTwit favorite buying, catching a falling knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tesla was looking at this morning. I was hoping it's gonna be stronger above the 159, 160, but we have the 10 in the way. So maybe let's give it a time. It's too early. We'll see. Maybe
I agree. I think it's a little early right now. I like the buying we saw off of that low. If we look left, that like 326.50 area, I was watching that heavily. So I like to see bulls holding that, but I need to see more to really get interested for any like swing trades, But it's looking good so far.
It was a beautiful bounce there. It was a beautiful bounce. I didn't trade it. I just bought leaps. I actually bought 480 strike leaps for May 27 on Tesla.
Okay,
So that's
gotcha.
up here. I have 2 years and something. I think we're gonna get there by then. If not, then I will cut my loss at some point. But I think I'm positive.
And those are a lot easier to manage rather than like short dated options, right? When you have leaps like that, I'm sure managing that versus trying to manage like a weekly options chain is significantly easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't trade weekly options, quite frankly. I do, as I said, like I do longer term if I buy, and if I sell, I do 2 weeks up to 4 weeks. And I'm selling a ton of options. I sold options on Google this week. I sold a bunch of puts on Google when we were around here. That's a great time to just sell like 175. That's like right below the 200 or right at the 200. That's like a huge bounce potential there. I sold IWM puts. Why not? And like 215 strike.
Yeah, look at it sideways. Might as well bank on the
it's doing
premium, right?
nothing.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. I was hoping it's gonna go, but with the inflation, it's not gonna go. If inflation is higher, this is like the most sensitive thing that is to the inflation. And crypto, I don't know, guys. Crypto is stuck in the channel still.
Just wake up in DCA. That's and don't think about it.
Yeah, literally, that's what I do every week, every other day when I see I just buy.
Set that thing on auto repeat, whatever, and just don't even think about it.
I agree. Like all I want for Valentine's is a little bit more Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And the coin, I listened to the earnings call. They have big plans. I think they are truly the top in the market when it comes to crypto exchange and trading, crypto trading platform. I think they're safe. I think they have their shit together. They're great guys. I think coin is good, but as saying it treats like crypto. This is what I try to always explain to everyone. Like if Bitcoin is not going to move, nothing is going to move, and then Bitcoin is not going to move because it's high beta. And it's also
that's why Hood's been fun. I don't know if you've played any Hood recently, but Hood's kind of you're kind of capitalizing on that brokerage space as well. But they just have it all,
So I own Hood from around 27 right here. This is my addition here, this breakout. I still own it, and for the earnings, I actually did a collar on my shares on half of them. I never do on the whole because in case I get called away, I would lose all my shares. It was 62 sold call, and I bought 51 put. So this was a trade. Let me delete. So it cost me $0 because I basically got the money for the call to buy the put in case it would tank because the move was 4 to 12% on Hood. And then it's expiring today, and I bought it back yesterday. I lost $135, whatever. I better be safe than sorry. Doesn't bother me. But I have my shares, and the shares are doing well. So,
If I can geek out for a second, what are the indicators on the bottom? I'm like a bit of a quant, so I like to see what other people's indicators are all the time.
So mine, I think I have it there twice. Sorry, it's ATR, average range.
Okay,
I
yeah.
have it there. I don't know why I have it twice. I clicked it twice, but I just want to know how the stock moves on average and what's the volatility around. So Hood has increased average to range. It helps me to trade. I like it. It helps me to put my expectations in place.
So is that for
Because
risk management a lot? Like where
well,
you're going to
yeah,
look to
because
take
then you know how the
profit?
stock moves on average, right? So if I'm setting my stop loss, I'm going to try to set it below the average range. Of course, it's not 100%, but it gives me a little bit of kind of like reference point on when to put my stop loss or where to put my stop loss. So if Hood moves $3.20 on a day on average at this point, I'm not going to do $2 stop loss because I will get stopped out too quickly. Right, so I would do much bigger. And now with Trump's market, I'm honestly giving myself really wide stops
Yeah,
because
ATRs are growing for sure. I
Yeah.
imagine they're getting wider and wider
yeah,
because the volatility range. I mean, you look at the
totally.
daily range we've been in on like the futures on NQ, and it's
Yeah.
been like 1,000 point range. You know what I mean? So it's been crazy.
Yeah, you need to adjust to the market. I had friends texting me that they're losing money swing trading. I said this to all my members at the very beginning of the year, really. Wide stops or just don't swing trade, sell options. This is a great option selling market. Amazing. Like finally, because last year it was really hard because the volatility was so low that you get nothing for premiums. So now you can just sell, and if you don't have a big portfolio, you can sell spreads. You
Exactly.
make a
Yep.
couple of $100, $300 on the spread. It's fine. It's good money. So that's kind of what I'm doing and holding. I'm really happy. I'm like really loaded the boat when Nancy announced this one, and this was my trade yesterday in the Discord about 80. I said about 80 lights out, and I was right. this one, this one is going crazy. So this was my first ad. I'm still holding, and I love to add on strong. When I see a strong stock, when I see that this one is like a stallion, I don't mind adding on like at 80, for example, in this case. Why
Yeah, I
not?
was talking early about how I own that one as well. And again, what I love about it is the short float. They've been getting more and more short as things have been getting higher and higher, now to the point where it's like 25% of the float is short as it's breaking all-time highs. And that combo I always find so powerful because not only are they short, you know they're all wrong because it's at all-time highs. There's no way that anyone who's short this stock can be making any money. So yeah, it's a
I want
great
to
one.
know which hedge fund is gonna blow up
Yeah, there's
on
going to be
this
They're
one.
one.
all in the room together. Sell.
Yeah.
Boom. Bye
No,
bye.
I
I
They
just
don't
watched
want
a
to.
video
I
of
don't
that
do
this morning
short.
from a movie, so I had that in my head.
Oh yeah, so fun. Yeah, this one was great. This one is like such a powerhouse. Yeah, so Tem was my other one, and there's so much good stuff. And I'm in this actually stock that
Yeah, this is
I've
another
been.
name I saw recently. I think we talked about it yesterday on the stream.
I added at here. You see my little dot. So that's where I added. I have too many moving averages. I switched them off. I don't like it for trading. I just look at it for the trend. And yeah, so that's my ad. I'm up a lot. It broke out these levels, and yeah, I think this one is gonna go to $40. That's my target on this
I like
company.
it. Keep the momentum going. Stay away from that gap. Keep those higher highs going on.
But
I
it's
like it.
very volatile. So
Yeah.
if you want to invest in it, you invest and you don't look and you add on dips. And if you want to, I mean, it's holding the 100 really nicely. So I was adding here more, and I'm just gonna hold. This is like hopefully 1 year longer, and then I sell it with lower tax.
Yep. That's always
That's
the
my
move, right?
plan. Yeah.
The SPY here, we're struggling with all-time highs. We're through the pre-market highs, just kind of barely. And it's outperforming the Qs today, which is super interesting. The Qs haven't really been getting going at all today, and the SPYs have been looking a little bit better. So
Yeah.
that's an interesting one.
I am
Generally
noticing that.
speaking, they're gonna move together, right? But it's not happening right now.
Well, something to keep an eye on too. That I think this kind of plays into why that is because NQ yesterday as well. We took. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right high. But yeah,
62.20.
we hit the previous month high on NQ. ES is actually not even close to its previous month high, which is interesting. So I think you're starting to see on the higher time frame, NQ has been the stronger asset, but now that we've taken that, that big level, that big monthly high, I think it's kind of slowing down, but you're seeing ES kind of hold that strength still, since it hasn't gotten to that spot yet. So maybe adds a little color to why we're kind of seeing
Yeah.
that this morning.
It's right on the resistance. The 6120 was my level that I posted this morning, and I think we have to just get over it with some more volume. But you
Yeah.
said struggling, it is struggling.
Well, what have we seen at all-time highs, right? We've seen all-time highs break, and we've seen
Yeah.
aggression to the
One,
upside, right?
two.
So we want to see that continue now, right? We don't
Yeah.
want to see us peek our head over and just say hi and bye,
Mm,
right? We want to say
yeah.
hi and let's go and run, right? And,
Yeah. See a
Well,
ghost.
yeah,
all depends what tweet comes out today, right? That's what
exactly.
we're waiting for. It's not
Just
just
put
is it
notifications on, literally. That's all you
yeah,
need.
it's not gonna break. It's like, yeah, as a technician, it's like, okay, we're at resistance. And then usually I'm thinking, what economic event is gonna get us through resistance? Now I'm just like, what tweet, right?
Yeah.
A technician should just give him a call and say, listen, we're right there, right at all-time highs. Just tweet something bullish, and the thing rips 2% today,
Boom.
and then
Yeah.
we'll finally be out of this range. This market, I charted out the last time was December 6th. So now we are well over 2 months, like 2.5 months, just hard stuck in this range. So
Stuck. I was actually posting about it. So what I like to do in this situation, I have a little bit bullish bias still. I don't think we're gonna have like a massive whatever bear market or what, like everyone is threatening. So what I like to do, I was looking at stocks that have really low implied volatility this week, and I was buying longer dated calls with super low IV. So I bought some EBIT and for next year, 2026. So what I like with this situation, when the implied volatility to the upside will increase, when there is any sort of momentum in crypto, this will greatly benefit me, because not only the price will go up, but the implied volatility will go up. The implied volatility was super low on these guys, like EBIT, and the same with SPY. Like it was, there was not many people were buying calls as I was looking this week to long term and like higher out of money calls. So I got some for March. We'll see. They're up a lot actually in a couple of days, and that's a very good strategy too. When you see like individual stock having invol below 50 and not having earnings, that's very important, because earnings will change the implied volatility. It's good. It's a good time if you believe in the stock that it's gonna move. It's good to buy those calls.
Yeah, I could be kind of telling you that those contracts are maybe cheaper than they should be. Kind of
Yeah,
the opposite
exactly.
of that would be SMCI earnings that just came out. Like the day of earnings, I remember looking at the contracts. Shortest dated contracts were over 200% IV. And it's not like SMCI was stuck in this tight consolidation on the daily. If it was, maybe I was like, oh, okay, maybe those contracts will actually move. But the fact that the implied move is 12%, and on an average day, SMCI is moving more than that. We've already been ripping, and the contracts are over 200%.
Exactly.
It screams
Yeah.
IV crush, right? And then you look at the chart and you're like, oh, all the option contracts got cooked, basically, if you
Yeah.
were in that,
Yeah.
right? So IV is very
Absolutely.
important.
And that's important, yeah. If people don't understand it and they get burned. They like sometimes also buying these contracts really expensive with high IV, and then the stock is moving in their favor, but the IV is crushed, and they're like, "Why I'm losing money if the stock goes up?"
Right.
Well, because IV.
Should have bought
Yeah, but
shares.
that was one thing I did this week. Yeah, I EBIT. I was loading on 26 and 27 on this one. Yeah, I think
Have you
honestly,
played
like
this
I'm on.
one, Michael Nauss?
Huh?
Have you played IBIT, Michael Nauss?
IBIT, yes. Yeah, I've been trading a bunch of IBIT, but I've got some money in exchanges. The thing that scares me about this, and for like tax deferred accounts and boring accounting stuff, I've got some IBIT in there. But it's always the weekend. It's always Sunday night
I
when
know.
Bitcoin makes some crazy move, and I just hate to not be able to participate in it one way or another. So that's why I've got not a lot of money, because exchanges still scare me. Just a little bit that I can take speculative bets or hedge, which I think is important as well. If the market's tanking and I can't get out of my IBIT because the market's closed, I can take a short on a contract in Kraken and kind of take the other side of that. But right now I'm all Fartcoin in the crypto
Mall
space.
coin. That's
Yeah, I hold
hilarious.
for long term that. I have also in my Roth IRA, I have IBIT and I have
Hmm.
Yeah,
BITO, which
yeah.
BITO is it's just high dividend, you know, but I have those two and I'm just holding them for so long now, and I'm adding contracts and holding. So that's how I look at it, because you're right, you can't do anything over the weekend. You're stuck. But if you're long term, you don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me too, I've been slowly, because it's been range bound. I've been just getting more and more involved in Robinhood. Part of my theory just being, I don't think there's a universe in which Bitcoin rockets and Robinhood doesn't. They're also making money kind of hand over fist on other things. So as long as I kind of like the chart and I like the look of the business, I've been holding that as well, which is just something that, for other people out there, you can get crypto adjacent kind of companies. I wouldn't go with the miners anymore. I actually worked for a crypto miner, story for another day, for a
Mm-hmm.
long time, and it is a rough business. You've got overhead when it comes to, you're burning these machines, these GPUs at like full tilt all the time. So you're constantly replacing them. You have staff that's there 24/7 in case the mine goes down. You've got land, you're paying power and air conditioning and all this. So these used to move quite a bit with Bitcoin, but I just think
Mm-hmm.
they're
It does.
probably going to be dead in the water just because it's just, again, just such a hard business. Why not just own like something like Robinhood that just
Yeah.
seems like a way easier business to be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are not moving as expected. We had pretty nice couple of pops, and 3 times actually this last year, and that's it. I don't know. Mara has really good financials. That's the only one I would hold longer term. And
Hmm.
what I do with this ownership, because I have thousands of shares, I sell puts and calls around it. And again, talking about the invol, you can literally sell weekly, which I don't do. I do 2 weeks, but you can sell so many calls and puts around this one, and it's trading in like the channel that you kind of you can just keep all the premiums, and it comes to like hundreds and thousands of dollars some weeks if I just sell with super high IV. So that's what I've been doing on Mara. But let's see. I mean, it would be time. I don't know. Like, I think people talk about the Bitcoin cycle, but honestly, with all the institutions now owning Bitcoin, I do not think it's gonna be same like it was the previous times.
The
Couldn't
cycle might
agree
be
more.
shorter, huh? To the downside if it comes.
I don't know. It's just like not everyone's waiting and counting. Oh, this was like the last time, but yeah, last cycle was in 2021 into 22, I think, right? And it started.
Mm-hmm.
22 was the end, and then it started going down the hill. I don't think that we had so many institutional. We didn't even have the ETFs back then, so I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. I'm really curious to see what happens with this asset.
I couldn't agree more. And my theory has always been, right, as much as people want institutional involvement, you can just see it in every market that exists. The more institutional involvement you get, the less volatility of the asset, just in a one-to-one relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason being, so imagine I'm a wealth advisor and I said, okay, client, I'm going to put 5% of your net worth into crypto. I think that's, relatively, I want you to get the growth there. I want to keep it small because it's a volatile asset or whatever it is. But that's how most of these advisors work. It's a percentage of your assets go into different currencies. Well, if the thing doubles, I'm a seller because I need to rebalance, right? I need to sell crypto and I need to buy whatever the other percentages are. If it tanks, I'm a buyer. And then, so what happens is if you have that dynamic happening across the market where every time something rips, you have all these sellers, then every time something dips, you have all these buyers, it just, it just tightens the volatility because no longer can the thing go up 10x because as it's going up, you have institutional sell to rebalance. So
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's one of those, you got what you wanted. Now it's going to move more like a traditional asset where if it rips, 50% in
Yeah.
a year, that's going to be an amazing year. I don't think we're in the space anymore where you have 10,
No, not on
20x.
Bitcoin for sure. There's
Yeah.
no way. It's just too much money. As you said, you can't move so much money around. And then look, like the biggest owner of Bitcoin is US government, Chinese government, BlackRock and Michael Saylor. And they are not selling any
Right.
soon.
Exactly.
So, it's just gonna sit there. And I did some like look. I looked at Bitcoin. I'm like, okay, well, if we're gonna fly, I think maybe 130 would be. But as you said, that's from all-time high, another what 20% from
Hmm.
now, maybe 30. If like I don't know, that's I mean that's not that much. You
Yeah.
can make this money. Like I trade so many stocks that I make 100% like in a week, in a month. Like
That's why
that's
that's why
insane.
Bitcoin I feel like we have to look at differently, you know what I mean? And I think it's becoming less and less of a trade and just more and more what it's supposed to be, what it was
Right.
created for, and actually part of our financial
Yeah.
system, right? And that's where
Yeah.
it's like,
Like
for
gold.
me, like it's more of a DCA, right? I'm not trading Bitcoin really. You know what I
No,
mean?
me
It's just
neither.
like, let me buy some every here
Yeah.
and there and try and keep the average cost of it as much as possible, because that's what we're looking for in the future, really, right? Of course,
Digital
some
gold,
some
right?
people are
Yeah.
looking for their Lambos and everything and trying to make their money, but you can do that elsewhere so much faster, I feel like, a
You
lot of the
can.
time. Yeah.
I like real. I'm just
Of
showing
course,
this
meme
from-
coins are meme coins, right? Like it's
Yeah.
different, but yeah, with this,
But good
it's
luck finding the ones that actually are gonna go. Good luck
Right.
getting out. Like I've been trading meme coins in 2021. Like that was the most what I was trading. I was completely insane. Like on all this crazy. It was not even like on Coinbase. It was like on other exchanges where you had to like trade it through Ethereum chain and who
Yeah.
knows which ones. You know, I have the Pancake chain and
ridiculous.
I don't even remember. I was like sitting there in my
Craziness.
dark room. Yeah, but yeah, they're honestly, why would I like stress myself? I can just real here. I made 100% on this one in like less than a month. You know, Hood was another example. There's like PLTR, like there's so many amazing stocks. And now really, if you just wait for like some sort of, now I feel like the stonks are coming back, like
The
Affirm too.
stonks.
Yeah, I call them
Love it.
stonks, but look, Affirm, like
I
the
know.
same
Look at
thing.
that. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Like we've been trading everywhere. As I said, like these are my breakouts where I trade. So I leave it there because I'm teaching. So I want to show students
Yeah, it's
what I
nice to
do.
look back and see them too.
Yeah, that's why I have all these lines there.
Yeah.
So
Well, really
yeah,
good
it's fun
stuff,
one. Yeah, it's
guys.
fun.
I think we're gonna get ready to wrap up here. But
Okay.
beautiful
Sure.
morning. Really
Sure.
really good show. Lee, I appreciate you coming on. Michael Nauss, always appreciate you coming on. We'll have you both on again soon.
Absolutely.
All right.
And for the
Thank
audience,
you.
have a safe day trading.
Thank
And
you.
have a great
weekend.
weekend. Yeah, it's a long weekend, so we're off Monday.
Yeah.
Everybody enjoy,
Oh,
and we'll see
yes.
everybody Tuesday. So yeah,
All
take
right.
the break. It's gonna be nice.
Thank
All right.
you.
Talk
Enjoy,
to you guys
guys.
soon.
Later.
Bye.
Good stuff. Will
Yep.
do.